Sometimes a cabinet's parts are built correctly, but they get twisted out of square due to improper assembly, mishandling during shipping, or over-tightening of screws during installation. This is known as a rack cabinet. If you have trouble getting a cabinet level and plumb while installing it, it's important to check it for square on all four corners. If the cabinet has a face frame, both the cabinet box and the face frame should be checked for square. Most cabinets from larger suppliers are assembled using a combination of machines and workers in a factory. Sometimes a cabinet is not built properly at the factory, or it becomes damaged during shipping. Some cabinets can be fixed by simply reassembling the parts. In this example, the cabinet was fixed by applying some wood glue and hammering the parts back together. It's important the cabinet remains square while it's reassembled, especially when gluing parts together. Sometimes a cabinet has one or more parts which were built incorrectly. The right side of this cabinet is too long, so the top right corner is out of square. This can only be fixed by cutting the long side down and reassembling the cabinet. Sometimes a cabinet's parts are built correctly, but they get twisted out of square due to improper assembly, mishandling during shipping, or over-tightening of screws during installation. This is known as a rack cabinet. One common way this can be fixed is by applying force to one corner in the opposite direction the cabinet is racked, and then holding it in place with screws and wood glue. Another way to fix a rack cabinet is to take it apart and reassemble it. All rack cabinets are out of square, but not all cabinets that are out of square are racked. Sometimes you just can't avoid cutting the cabinet down to make repairs.
Here's a special offer for any Cabinet Talk viewer that wants to become a skilled cabinet installer. I'm talking about Cabinet Bootcamp. Start your new career today and get $100 off the already discounted price. Click the link below, use coupon code CTALK24.
When trying to level and plumb a cabinet, it's best to think about doing it one part at a time. Let's say we want to level and plumb this cabinet by itself on the wall, so we don't have to worry about aligning it to another cabinet. To install this cabinet, we would start by partially driving one screw on top just to hold it in place. Then we would place a level on the bottom of the cabinet. The level can only tell us if the surface it's touching is level. The bottom part of the cabinet is level, but the top part of the cabinet is not. Let's see another example. Checking one side of a cabinet for plumb will only give us information about that part. The top right and bottom right corners of this cabinet are not square. We can plumb the left side of this cabinet, but the right side won't be plumb. If we try to plumb the right side, the left side won't be plumb. The same is true when trying to plumb the cabinet from front to back. This cabinet is square on all four corners. If the entire cabinet is square, then plumbing the left side from front to back should automatically make the right side plumb as well. But what if the cabinet is twisted like this? If we plumb the right side from front to back, the left side of the cabinet will not be plumb. If we plumb the left side from front to back, the right side will not be plumb. Sometimes it's hard to plumb the cabinet because the wall is crooked. This wall in our showroom was so crooked, we had to install a piece of molding behind the cabinet to make it plumb. In this example, we have 3 cabinet boxes. Let's say we want to install them in this order. Cabinets 1 and 3 are square. Cabinet 2 is square on the left side, but not on the right side. We may not notice a problem at first, but once we attach the last 2 cabinets together, Cabinet 3 will be impossible to level. Sometimes it's necessary to cheat the cabinet a little bit while installing it. The bottoms of these 2 cabinets are level. The cabinet on the right is slightly out of square on the top right corner, so the tops are not level. The top part of the right cabinet will stick out slightly once we install it. but if the design uses crown molding, you'll never see it. Note that we can only do this for wall and tall cabinets. Now let's see an example with face frames. In this example, the cabinet box is square and the face frame is square. But the box is not aligned properly with the face frame. If we try to level the face frame, the box won't be level. If we try to level the box, the face frame won't be level. In these situations, the face frame should always be level and plumb, even if the box ends up slightly crooked. If the box is too crooked, it's best to reattach the face frame so both parts are aligned properly. Most of the examples we've used so far are exaggerated to make them easier to understand. Keep in mind that it's usually not this easy to tell if a cabinet is out of square with the naked eye, so be sure to check your cabinets with a square if you suspect something is off during installation. Cabinets in the real world are never perfectly square, so it's important to know how to recognize these problems.